That brief period of Liz Truss government, I would say, I hope I'm saying this kind of as neutrally as I can, as an objective observer, it has done tremendous damage to the Conservative Party. I mean, it absolutely limited the possibilities, the freedom for action of Rishi Sunak and his government.
I think the consequences, the financial consequences of that budget have been profound and have now really everything that we're about economically, at least in the short term, have been in addressing some of those issues and really limiting the room for manoeuvre, meaning that there are, quotes, more tough decisions to be made than might have been the case.
You will not be a candidate at the next election. You've decided not to stand. But as you reflect on the massive gap between the Conservatives and the Labour Party in the opinion polls now, and compare it with the much smaller gap that existed when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister, would you say, objectively, as an observer, that the Conservative Party has done a sensible thing in swapping Boris Johnson eventually for Rishi Sunak?
My personal view is yes. And I think where you have to look at where those polls changed, particularly came, as we just mentioned, after that budget in the early autumn. So the question being, the economy stupid, really, if we borrow that from Clinton's campaign in the States. I think that is where the real shift in the polls occurred. Now, you might think me a raving lunatic, but I would still suggest that there will be a albeit smaller Conservative majority at the next election. That is my general view, is that the Conservatives will be well placed to win the next election.
Well, I'm slightly surprised by your prediction, but let me ask you, based on your prediction, would the majority have been bigger had Boris remained?
I don't think so. I think it's very different and difficult to understand. But it's easy with hindsight to reflect on that. But also, I think in so doing, we forget about some of the issues and the difficulties we were facing as a parliamentary party at that time. I think the real shift in the opinion polls came with the budget in the autumn.